everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. I'm sitting with Ramon Ortega Jr. He's the Director of Veterans Affairs and Recruitment at Lewis University. So we're going to take the time to get to know Ramon a little bit today and dive into some of his experiences and expertise regarding veteran education efforts and what he's doing to help out Chicagoland area veterans in that regard. So Ramon, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, George, for having me today. I appreciate you thinking of me and thinking of the university and what we do as an institution to support what we feel is an underserved population, that is veterans in Illinois.
Absolutely. So if you could start with just tell us a little bit about your background, a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay. Grew up in Cicero, Illinois. Went to school in Cicero all the way up until high school, moved out to Plainfield High School. Went through high school there and graduated in '99. I joined the military right out of high school. Served in the military for a little over a year. Came on to into reserve status to go to school. Used the GI Bill to go to school at Northern Illinois University.
Okay.
Served in the reserves my entire time at Northern Illinois University, where I attained a bachelor's degree. Commissioned in 2003 from ROTC, same thing, out of NIU. Entered back onto active duty as an Army officer, specifically branched infantry. Served as an infantry officer from 2003 all the way to 2008 from various types of units, ranging from Fort Benning, going through Ranger School, etc. I graduated from Ranger School, went on to my first duty station with the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, where I served as a mechanized infantry platoon leader, deployed as a military instructional training team commander during a time where we were starting to embed ourselves with the Iraqi forces and support them in their training and taking over the mission in Iraq. I did that for a year in Baghdad. Great opportunity to serve a company-sized element, about 120 Iraqis, and I had about 14, 15 at any given time American soldiers that were assigned under my command. Redeployed in 2006, then went to the 3rd U.S. Infantry, the Old Guard, out of Washington, D.C., also known for its mission at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and in Arlington National Cemetery. So I did missions there, served on multiple types of missions, everything from helping handle and repatriate U.S. soldiers that had passed away in combat to serving at the tomb. I did company command there, where I also served as an intelligence officer. Left active duty, uniquely, and went to work for Kraft Foods Global. I worked for Kraft Foods Global for a year, running operations out of the world's largest bakery in Chicago. Came back on active duty once I got a call from the Army saying they needed someone to help run an ROTC program here in the Chicagoland area. Did that for an additional 4 years. Okay. Separated from active duty as a major in the Army in June 2013, where I came to transition to higher education, which I had an affinity for Lewis University, where I got my MBA from, and that's where I've been since. So June 2013, became the director at Lewis University, started up what is the Office of Veteran Affairs and continuing to grow it in an entrepreneurial way.
Okay. That's a pretty deep and diverse background, so I'm sure that serves you very well in what you do. So with that being said, I'd kind of like to dive in and talk a little bit about what Lewis University does for its student veterans as far as career progression. How do you guys handle that?
So really, as a university, we try to access multiple resources that are out there to create a pipeline for our student veterans to be successful. First and foremost, a principle that we have is you have to look at the growth markets. You have to look at what careers are available or what's going to be on the horizons for careers. And then you need to reverse engineer what curriculum, what degrees are you going to offer. Once you offer the degrees that they're seeking out, that they can see at the end of the road that there's going to be a meaningful career, they're much more likely to go to your university. So we focus on degrees like computer science, computer engineering. Our veterans love our aviation program. We're one of the best aviation programs in the nation, arguably the best. aviation program in the nation. So we have everything from aviation
Remember
maintenance.
Riddle graduate, I might.
Oh, okay. Well, we go neck and neck, right? We go neck and neck.
Right.
So if you want to go into aviation in Illinois, Lewis University is the place to go. So we have a lot of degrees that they really seek out, that they can see this is meaningful. So that's just Lewis University, but our mission, rooted in our LaSallian mission to serve underserved populations, we feel that veterans are often underserved in higher education.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. Now that being said, so you guys are putting veterans in the right type of career paths, and that's fantastic. What does that look like when they show up? Is it a coaching, mentoring process to get them into the right degree programs?
So it all starts from day one. The minute you start to engage with them and you ask them, well, what degree are you seeking? And if you get any hesitation that, well, I think I want to do this, right away my radar turns on and I'm like, okay, well, I heard I think, so therefore there's going to be some coaching needed right at the beginning.
Okay.
So we start to go through some type of sorters and ask some fundamental questions of that personality, what they're looking to do, whether they're an outdoor person, indoor person, etc. So the coaching happens in that advisement period for what degree they're going to go after. After that, during orientations or this coming summer, we're going to be offering a military academic success seminar where we get them even earlier onto the campus for a one-day seminar where we talk about careers, we talk about math competencies in case they want to go into STEM. We can start to calibrate their math skills again. So one of our math professors comes out. We also have writing professors that come out, so English professors come out and work with them on their writing style. So then a month later or 2 months later when they start school, they've already started to formulate, yeah, this is the degree I want to seek. Subsequently, they come to orientation. They become integrated to our career services department. We start working with them on how to articulate their skills, how to address their success, common things that we know to do in career services, but we really are trying to do it in a more holistic way from now on. And that's where I get involved, where I deal with the veterans directly as they have a unique skill set that a lot of the students may not have.
Okay, so that being said, as a talent acquisition professional, one of the things I love the most to see in a candidate is a candidate who's branded themselves as a commodity, and they understand that they are selling themselves to a business when they interview with them. So veterans have such a deep well of experiences and qualities and soft skills, etc., that they just don't do such a great job at getting across to potential employers. What do you guys do anything to assist them in that self-branding arena? Yeah,
so what we do first and foremost is we look at their resume and see how they articulated themselves on a resume. Then we correlate, well, you got military experience here. You may not want to phrase it that you were in charge of $1.5 million worth of equipment and this amount of people, because that is not as translatable in the sense that they can't equate that when you get into a civilian profession. Right. So what you need to talk to is, we have noticed some skills here, or strengths. It's your leadership, your ability to work as a team, to lead that team, etc. So then we point at those features, so when they articulate themselves during a 30-second pitch or during an interview, they can focus on, this is the overall person I am, this is the task, action, result I got out of this specific situation, and then they can maneuver on. And once you format it that way, these are your key strengths you should take away to your personal brand. This is a hard-working person, teamwork, etc. You then wrap that around the situation, and you can go out and be successful. And that's one of the things that, as Lewis University being the executive director for Bridges to Employment, under Student Veterans of America, Illinois, we're leading. And we're working on focusing the narrative around student veterans, helping them with their personal branding. So what are those skills they should be speaking to when they go network or when they go interview?
Okay.
It is those things that Bridges to Employment are going to help recreate. And it's done so through a panel discussion with veterans like yourself who are successful in careers. So right there, you hear it from someone who's been there, walked the path, and they're student veterans, so maybe they aren't fully credentialed quite yet, but they will subsequently be once they graduate. Now they have these skills to attain that meaningful career.
Okay, so you're building a foundation for them.
Building a foundation.
And kind of letting them go from there.
Yes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So that being said, I'm assuming from what you've told us, you get quite a few student veterans that enter Lewis University. How do you retain them? I know with veterans, there's a lot of research been done that retention in education programs is troublesome. That they'll start and a large percentage won't finish. So what do you guys do to kind of bridge that gap, so to speak?
Yeah. So at Lewis University, I really employ two strategies, right? One's a basic, what I call blocking and tackling strategy.
Right.
And then the other one is programmatic, strategic thinking around initiatives. So what I mean by that is the simple blocking and tackling, honestly, is community building. When they come onto your campus, how do you greet them?
Right.
Do you bring their family along with them? So we do in the military hail and farewells.
Right.
At the university, we have a hail and farewell for our military students. All of our new military students are invited to a barbecue. This coming year, we'll have a jumpy house. We'll offer some.
Now, is that through your program?
That's through Lewis University specifically.
Okay.
So we'll invite them, build some community. Our Student Veterans of America chapter is going and vibrant and really engaged. So we'll try to get them in that group if they choose to. If not, start their own or maneuver. But that being said, we need to make them feel welcomed. We check in with them 3 weeks into every semester.
Okay.
We call each and every single one of them. We don't just email. We call them. We invite them into the office. And I know that creates sometimes economies of scale issues because how do you do this one-on-one? But the reality is it doesn't need to be a super long conversation. Believe it or not, sometimes it's a 1-2 minute conversation. George, how are you doing? Are you having any issues with your classes? Yes, I am. This class. Well, let's get you a tutor. And it can be as easy as the mantra we hold in the office, relate and refer.
Okay.
Relate to them, refer them out to tutoring, the writing center.
Expert is that
Exactly.
they want to talk to.
Exactly. And then the more strategic programming that I was referring to is we offer a program at the campus called Veteran Ally.
Okay.
So it is a certified course that faculty and staff can go through. It ranges anywhere from 2 up to 6 hours, depending on the time frame that we offer it. We offer it 3 times a year. And it talks about veterans in the classroom, how many veterans we have on campus, resources that faculty and staff can leverage to get veterans assistance. And we speak to the strengths, not to the myths per se. We dispel the myths in this program.
Okay.
We talk about adult learning strategies, etc.
So what myths specifically, because there's a few that are being perpetuated on a national level. Which ones do you guys kind of target specifically?
So the first myth that we dispel is the amount of PTSD amongst our student veterans. So what we actually do is we have local experts from the VA come in who handle military sexual trauma and our readjustment counselors.
Okay.
So they'll come in with data, empirical data that says, well, look, this is the percent of PTSD in all reality amongst veterans at these different timelines in their career.
Whether does that explain like it's such a broad scope condition,
right?
And so many of our veterans that suffer from it, really, it's just little things. They're not gonna come in and shoot up a classroom.
Exactly.
I mean, is that part of the whole education piece for the
Absolutely, absolutely. Talking about the amount of actual veterans who have post-traumatic stress, what are some of the, according to the psychologists that we bring in, what are some of the symptoms that come up and what is their typical reaction of a veteran who may have issues that they're suffering from, but they can get over through help? What does that really look like? How does that manifest itself? And it doesn't manifest itself where they get angry and look to injure anyone. If anything, they just tend to back off and go into the shadows and may not attend class. So what do we do to proactively reach out to them? So we talk about 3-week check-in. So at the culmination of this program, each faculty and staff member that comes to the program gets a military challenge coin. They get a decal that they can display on their door, a cubicle, whatever the case may be. They also get a digital print of it that they can put on their syllabus. And what my intent is, I developed the program, is as student veterans see the Vet Ally logo, they know, George, I can come talk to George now. He has said that he's a veteran ally to me. So if I'm having an issue in class, or I'm struggling to understand the material, or that the learning model that professor is using isn't working for my style, whether it's auditory, you're not letting me take notes, whatever the case may be, there's this open dialogue quickly that happens quickly through this visible network that is Vet Ally. And we're coming up on 100 faculty and staff trained on the campus. We're increasing 3 times a year. We've only had it around for 1 year, and our faculty and staff, to include adjunct, is around 600. So our percentage that have been trained is going really well, and it's one of the highest rated programs that we offer at the university.
That's absolutely fantastic. So, Ramon, thank you for taking the time today.
I appreciate it, George.
Sharing your experience with us, and thank you everyone else for taking the time to join us.